Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vedanta Vedyam Sri Ramam Natva Sri Chinmayam Gurum Vakshe Vedanta Madhuryam Lokanandakaram Bhavet. We are at the verse number 11. We'll go to verse number 11 now. Prayatanti sukayeva tata dukkha nivruttaye vitta sattartha bhogaischa jana sarvatra sarvada. Two important goals in our daily life, all of us, not only human, even other living beings. The two are sukha prapti, dukkha nivrittihi. Continuous engagement in finding happiness and getting rid of dukkham, sorrow. Now, interesting thing is, dukkha nivritti, removal of dukkham, itself is sukham. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, dukkha sanyoga viyogaha yogam idi sanjitam. What is the definition of yoga? Dukkha sanyoga viyoga. Disassociation with all sorrows. Nobody invites sorrow in life. Nobody wants sorrow in life. But it comes. That's why dukkham. So when the sorrows in life come, do we want to associate with that or not? We don't want to. If somebody is having dukkham or some kind of a sorrow or loss, we go and participate in that person's situation, meaning if somebody has lost somebody, etc. We go there, but we don't take up that sorrow. Do we own that sorrow of that person? No. We want to get rid of that sorrow in him also and in you also. So what we see here is all of us are busy in what? Getting rid of all possible sorrows that may come unasked in our life. Okay. Now that is the reason why we are engaged in getting rid of bodily pains by sleeping, pangs like hunger and thirst by eating and drinking, and sometimes the old age disease, sickness by taking medicines. And then few things that we do for the sake of Pleasures, going to movies, going and hanging out with friends, parties, a celebration of festivals, these are all for Sukham. And acquiring money by going to work, even though it is such a struggle, it is going to work every day. I'm tired, I'm so exhausted, I want to retire. But still, what about my medical insurance? So people keep on working until they're really tired. 65, when I get my Medicare. Until then, I have to work, Swamiji. Until the state takes care of my own health, I will have to work. All right. So, then, even going to work is not that great a pleasant thing to do, because I have to meet my expenses. So this way goes on and on and on. Until we retire, there is Sukha Prapti, Dukkha Nivritti, Sukha Prapti, Dukkha Nivritti. During the day I get exhausted, so sleeping is a Dukkha Nivritti. But we never look for what is the ultimate Sukham. How much ever we try. The final permanent Sukham, we never get it. So in the next verse, it is said, we read the next verse, verse number 12. Napnuvanti cha te preshtam napi dukkam nivartate Vedanto dishati srotam Nityanandasya no hriti Napnuvanti cha te preshtam napi dukkam nivartate Vedanto dishati srotam Nityanandasya no hriti. Te means janaha, people. Preshtam na apnuvanti. Praishtam, what they desire, they don't get finally. Only temporary ones. And na api dukkam nivartate. Not even the sorrows really go away. Sorrows of old age. Old age always comes with being ignored, being sidelined, being unwanted. All of us who has to go have to go through. Yavat bitto parjana saktaha tavan nija parivaro raktah paschadivadi jardar dehe vartam kopina pruchati gehe. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, so long as you are productively engaged in bringing money or wealth or resources to the family, and everybody is interested in your welfare, the moment you stop doing that, they don't even ask whether you are still there or not. This is a fact of life. So when we become old and then when we are not able to anymore bring joy or wealth or happiness to people around, we become a burden, liability. Then you realize, my God, how long I worked and now what is it? Dukkam na nivartate. And at that time, body is also becoming old. Senses are also not any more active. Jatilo mundi lunjita kesha kashayambara bahukruta vesha. Even as one takes up to religious activity also, they are not finding the final happiness. Udara nimittam bahukruta vesha, only for the sake of filling the belly. They are not interested in finding the final, ultimate, permanent happiness. Even those who take up to sannyas, they are not able to discover the final happiness because they have not pursued it seriously to find the ultimate purpose of even the religious life. Na apnuvanti te preshtam. Desired objects or happiness is not obtained. Na api dukkam nivartate, not even the sorrows are alleviated, removed. So therefore, the important thing is Vedantaha dishati. Vedantaha dishati. Dishati means shows, indicates, points out. Dish is to indicate. Vedantaha dishati. What? Srotam nityanandasya. Nitya anandasya. Permanent happiness source. Srotam. Hetu. Adharam. Karanam. Very source of that ananda, which is permanent, it indicates. What is that? Naha hriti. In our own heart. ये कहाँ कहाँ ढूंढ रहे हो भाई? मैं आपकी पास ही हूं. Very much there in our own heart, we are searching all over the place. That is why it is said, no? Bhagavan said, these human beings are capable of finding me wherever I go. Any part of the universe I go, they will be able to find out. One place they will not come in search of me. I will go and hide there. What is that place? In their own heart. They will search all over the place, and very few will come to know, if he is not anywhere else, then he must be within. Hriti, in one's own heart. Heart does not mean the pumping heart. It's not that one which is pumping the blood. No, not that. Hriti means the core of your being. As Ramana Maharshi said, that is the source of all thoughts. Vrittayastu aham vrittim ashritaha, aham vrittihi aham ashritaha. All thoughts are supported by aham vritti, I thought. Even the I thought is none other than the I with respect to the relative world. The very consciousness itself is the mind. When you say mind, it is none other than the thoughts, meaning the consciousness in association with the so-called perceived world is expressing itself as thought. So the source of the I thought is I, the pure consciousness. Where is it? Sarvasmin hridaye. Hriti. Idi Vedantaha dishati. Vedanta clearly points out that. I wrote a small couplet here. Ananda yaiva karmani tadichaya hi jivanam sarvavastasu anandam sada vanchanti manavaha. All actions that we are doing is Ananda yaiva karmani. For that Ananda alone, all karmas are done. Tadichaya hi jivanam. For that purpose only life also. Sarvavastasu anandam sada vanchanti manavaha. In all conditions, human beings are seeking for only joy, that happiness. But what Vedanta says, Anandam Brahmeti Vijanat. Understand, Anandam Brahma. See, it is said in Taittiriya Upanishad beautifully, Tasmatva edasmad vijnanamayat anyontara atma anandamayah tenaisha purnaha sava esha purusha vida eva tasya priyameva shiraha modo dakshina pakshaha pramoda uttara pakshaha Ananda Atma. Beyond the Vijnanamaya Kosha, what is there is Anandamaya Kosha. Tasmatva etasmat Vijnanamayat Anyontara Atma Anandamaya. Tena Esha Purnaha. Tena means Anandamaya Koshena Vijnanamaya Kosha Purnaha. The subtle one pervades the gross one, always. See, our body is there. Body is here. But body is sustained by prana. Gross body is sustained by prana. So prana is subtler than gross body. Therefore, Annamaya Kosha is pervaded by Pranamaya Kosha. The prana also, Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana, all these are pervaded by Manomaya Kosha. Because by thought you can even stop the breathing also. So the mind can stop or pervade entire Pranamaya Kosha. Manomaya Kosha is pervaded by Vijnanamaya Kosha. Vijnanamaya Kosha is pervaded by Anandamaya Kosha. Bliss sheath. See, that is the reason when we go to sleep, we are totally unaware of everything. Deha ahamna. I don't even know I am breathing or not. Prana, Maya Kosha also not I am identified with. No thoughts are there, so Manomaya Kosha is conquered. I am not planning anything, scheming anything, thinking about anything. Vijnanamaya Kosha is also conquered. By whom? Anandamaya Kosha. In Sushupti Avastha, in the state of sleep, what is there is Anandamaya, which we all have experienced. Are experiencing. But problem is this Anandamaya Kosha, there is a Purusha. That Anandamaya Koshasya Purusha Atma. Paramatma only there. You are not there. No, you as a ego is not there in that condition. But the realization of that doesn't take place at that point. Or even for that matter, in the worldly transactions that when we take up, we have a notion of happiness about something. When that notion of happiness is there, and that object of happiness, then when we are seeing it in front of us, it may be a person, it may be an object, whatever it is, then there is a vritti that takes place called Priya Vritti. Priya Vritti. And then when we take that object close and own it ourselves, that means it is my own. When you have that, it is called Moda Vritti. Vritti, thought of Moda. Then when you experience that object, it's called Pramoda. Prakarshena Moda. But actually, objects cannot give you happiness. Because if objects can give you happiness, it should give happiness to everyone. So what is that actually when we experience an object of happiness? Where is the source of happiness? That is why it is said, Tasya priyame vashiraha modo dakshina pakshaha pramoda uttara pakshaha. What is that? Ananda Atma. Even in the joy of the Vishayananda, the very substratum is Atma, Paramatma. Sarvasmin hrideyo vasati, one who resides in everybody's heart. That Ananda is Atma only, the Paramatma only, because of whom only you are able to experience Priya, Moda and Pramoda. The source is Paramatma, one's own self, whose nature is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Anandam Brahma. That is what Vedanta clearly points out. Vedantaha dishati shrotam nityanandasya. Of that eternal happiness, the source is Atma, the self. Now you see, we have a wrong notion that the world can give us happiness. That's why we are busy. So in the next verse, he points out, Atmanatma padartaustaha Jagatyasmin vilokaya Anatma Vishaye Kwapi Sukam Nasti Kadachana Atmanatma Padartostah Jagat Yasmin Vilokaya Anatma Vishaye Kwapi Sukam Nasti Kadachana. In this world, when we start to inquire according to Vedanta, when it is said that the Ananda is the nature of the self, Paramatma, but we are interacting with what then? All the objects. So there are two things only, Atma and Anatma, right? Self and the not self, only two things. Atma Anatma Padartostah, where Asmin Jagati. There are two things only broadly classified, the self and the not self. Iti Vilokaya. Now you come to see this clearly. This is called Vichar. See, where should we start the Vichar? Vichar karne ke samay, aap, when you start your process of inquiry, start from who you are, where you are. See, when you want to go to some place also, a GPS or Google map, they say, I want to go to this place. Okay. Then the second question, when you put the address of the place, all right. But first thing is, then after that last, where are you now? What is your location? Current location. So when you say, I am in the current location, immediately it calculates where you are and then spots you. Oh, you are in your house. Okay, fine. From this place where you are to the place where you want to go, this is the way, this much time it takes, this is the route you take, etc. In the same way, हम विचार करने के समय कहाँ से शुरू करेंगे? Where do we begin with? Where you are. पहले अहम को जानो. Who you are, you start from there. And anything else other than you, i.e., is idam. This. So, दो पदार्थ हैं. अहम, idam. मैं और ये. I and this. Now you see, very interesting. Now we say this world. Okay. Why we say that this world? Because that is not me. This is me and everything else around me is this. So, idam aham pada bhikyaman vaham. Idam aham. So, this and I, which Bhagavan Krishna calls as kshetrajna and kshetram. Kshetrajna is one who is aware of whatever is known as kshetram. Kshetrajnam chabimam vidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. So, idam shariram kaunteya kshetram ityabhidiyate. This body itself is idam. See, it is not that idam is anything outside you. Even this body is idam. Why? Because this is also drishyam. It is also is perceived, seen. Yatyad drishyam tat sarvam idam kshetram. Shariram idam. Shirnat shariram. Why sharira is called sharira? Shirnat. It is subject to decaying. Sharanat kshetram. Because it is kshara, it is subject to decades, therefore it's called kshetram. So this body, idam shariram kaunteya kshetram. Etat yo veti. He who knows this body, kshetrajna. That is what is called kshetrajna. So the body itself is kshetram, not only the world. So this body is also drishyam. Because you see, body doesn't tell you that I am here. Does it tell you? If that is the case, you can never go to sleep. You are able to go to sleep because body is not claiming its presence. आप देह को छोड़ सकते हो क्या नहीं? एवरी नाइट आप छोड़ सकते हो. क्यों? आप वो नहीं है. What you are not, you are able to leave. Correct? What you are, you cannot leave. So क्या क्या आप छोड़ सकते हैं? What are the things you can leave before you go to bed? You can leave the entire body also. This is not me. Therefore, that is discarded. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, hands, legs, everything. Then ye thoughts, mana hai, abhi, mind and thoughts are also idam only. That also you are able to leave. Intellect is also able to leave. So whatever you leave behind is not you. So what is that I am then? ऐसा विचार करो. आत्म अनात्म पदार्थौ स्तः जगत्यस्मिन् विलोकय. So now the thing is, अनात्म विषये सुखम क्वापि नास्ति कदाचन. कदाचन क्वापि सुखम अनात्म विषये न अस्ति. In that which is not you, there is not even an iota of kwapi, kadachit at any time, sukham nasti. See, in explaining, in Vedanta, when explaining any idea, any concept, three things are used. Guruji also writes in his commentary itself, Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti. Shruti means statement from the Shastra. Yukti means logic. Anubhuti is experience. Experience. Now, if you see, in the worldly objects, including your own body, in the worldly objects, anything that you call it as idam. Idam means vishayam, drishyam. Yadya drishyam, tat sarvam jadam. First. Whatever is said to be idam, this is jadam, achaitanyam. It is not living being. It is not having life of its own. It has dependent life. Body is alive or not? Body is alive without you. When you die, body is left behind as jadam only. When you are not there, but body has its own life. No. See, a plant is there, fruits are there. Fruit is very beautiful, very tasty, very ripe. All right. You pick it up from the plant, keep it aside. It has lost its life. It's no more alive. You keep it for some time, it will start decaying and then finally shrink and then it is gone. Why? It is detached from the plant which is alive. Even you take a leaf from that plant, it's so bright and beautiful, healthy leaf. Pick it away from that plant and keep it aside. Within a day, it will shrink. When it is in the plant, it is so healthy. Why? In touch with life. So, idam shariram, this body also, without you, the Atma, cannot have its own life. It's jadam only. So, first thing is it said, Sarvam idam yadi jayate, Sarvam jadam, achaitanyam. Yet jadam, tat parinamatmakam. It just undergoes change. And finally it is mrutam, gacchati. It finally dies, it disappears. So that which is constantly changing and subject to death, how can it give sukham? Number one. Number two is, second point is that an object does not give happiness in the same way for everybody. Correct? It may be an object of happiness for me and somebody else hate it. I don't want it. A shopkeeper wants to sell off all his products because it is unnecessary stock for him. Whereas the consumers want it. They'll take it home very happily. So the same object does not give happiness to everyone. Third, that very happiness that you derive from an object also, if you overindulge it, it will start becoming dukkham. So our own anubhuti shows, anubhava shows, my own experience shows that the very object which I consider as a source of happiness is not in it, because it is not the same for all. Also, my experience is what if I keep on using that, at some point of time, even that will lose the concept. I will not have any more happiness out of that. So, vishaye na sukham. Anubhava itself will tell you. Anatma vishaye kwapi sukham nasti. In the object, there is no happiness at all. It is, even this physical body is it's what called bhoga ayatanam. In Tattva Bodha, it's a bhoga ayatanam. It is a place where you experience the joy. It is not the source of joy. It is only ayatan. It is only support. Just like if you are drinking a milk, the container, the glass, is a ayatanam. It is not karanam, ayatanam. It is only a support. In the same way, bhoga ayatanam shariram, na bhoga karanam. So it is our own experience that will clearly show that vishayena sukham asti kwapi kadachit. So the next verse he says, verse number 14. Anubhutam idam sarvaihi janairatra punah punah sukaswarupa atmaiva siddham tatparisheshatah anubhutamidam sarvaihi janairatra punah punah sukaswarupa atmaiva siddham tatparisheshatah. Sarvaihi janaihi punah punah atra anubhutam. Sarvaihi, by all people, janaihi, punah punah, again and again, atra here, anubhutam. Idam. This is what is experienced. What? Atma eva sukaswarupaha. Atman alone is of the nature of bliss and joy. That parisheshatahat siddham. By elimination of everything that is not, this is not, this is not, what remains is Atma, the self. If you are heating water in a pot, you put it on the stove. Put it on the stove, the vessel. In the vessel, you have water. So water is hot because of the vessel. Vessel is hot is because of the stove. Stove is hot because there is fire. Now you see, water is not hot by itself. Water is hot because pot is hot. Pot is hot because stove is hot. Stove is hot because fire is there. So, fire is the actual cause for the water to get hot. Though there is a need for a pot, need for a stove. In the same way, when I say this body is alive, its body is alive because there is mana, prana is there. Prana is there because of, prana is sustained by manaha, subtle body. Mana and buddhi. Buddhi and mana is there because there is behind them or supporting it is Anandamaya Atma. See, this Anandamaya Atma supporting the Sukshma Shariram. The Sukshma Shariram is supporting the Pranamaya Kosha. Pranamaya Kosha supports the Deha, Annamaya Kosha. So we feel life in this body is because of the inherent presence of consciousness which we don't directly see. This is the anubhavam for every one of us. When we come to realize that objects are not the source of happiness, but I'm still feeling or experiencing happiness, what is the source of that? Parishesha means leave aside. What remains there, parishesham yadasti, that is what everything is removed, what is remaining finally, unrefuted, that is the source of happiness. Even in the scientific observation, what is the cause of the problem? Eliminate all the factors. And finally, one thing you cannot eliminate. That must be the reason. This is not, this is not, this is not, this is not. What is that then? That which cannot be eliminated. That must be the reason for the problem. Is it not? See, we also experience every day in Sushupti Avastha, in the state of sleep, Anand. Kahan se aa raha hai? What is the source for your joy in sleep, for your peace in sleep, for your happiness in sleep? Otherwise, if it is an unhappy situation, you will never go to sleep. Every day, anytime you are ready to sleep. When it's a boring lecture, you are ready to sleep there and then. When you have eaten very well, you want to sleep. When you are tired, and then in the sleep, so much of joy. कहाँ से? किससे होता है? कहाँ से होता है? What is the कारण? Your own sleep condition proves to you that you are the source of happiness. Where everything is removed. A notion I am the body is not there. I have no thoughts. I have no plans. I have no intellectual argument going on. Oh, Anand, kahan se? From emptiness. Nothing can give you only nothing. If it gives Ananda, then it must be having Ananda in its own nature. So, Sukha Swarupa Atma, the nature of joy, nature of Anand. So, आप वेदांत पढ़ने से आपको क्या मिलना है? What is that you will have to get out of Vedanta? Anand, Sukham. वेदांत पढ़ रहा हूँ, दुखी हो रहा हूँ. That means you have not got it. वेदांत पढ़ने से आप दुख नहीं होगे. If you are experiencing sorrow after studying Vedanta, there is something seriously wrong there. It is like, I'm having my sweet, but I'm feeling so unhappy about eating the sweet. Why? That means something wrong with your tongue. If tongue is okay, then you must be experiencing sweetness only. Jangri, or jalebi, or Mysore pak, or gulab jamun, or rasgulla. When you are eating, then swad nahi hai. If you say there's something wrong with your tongue. In the same way, if you are Vedanta padhne se dukhi ho rahe ho, something seriously wrong with you. That means you didn't get it. Sukhaswarupa Ananda Atma Vedantah Dishati no hridi, in our own heart. Continuing here, the next verse he says, verse number 15. Anandatmanubhutya chit sarvam dukkham nivartate. माधुर्यं तस्य ज्ञानस्य वक्तव्यं किमु शब्दतः आनन्दात्मानुभूत्या चेत् सर्वं दुःखं निवर्तते माधुर्यं तस्य ज्ञानस्य वक्तव्यं किमु शब्दतः आनन्दात्मा अनुभूत्या चेत्. If one has gained that blissful self in oneself, with that experience of the bliss of the self, what happens? Sarvam dukkham nivartate. Dukkha nivritti takes place. Dukkasya moola karanam ajnanam. The very source of dukkha is ajnan. Not, it is ajnan when you say, I have explained it to you many times in many different occasions. Najnanam ajnanam, apurna jnanam ajnanam, viparita jnanam ajnanam. Ajnana is three kinds. Najnanam ajnanam. I don't know is also ajnan. I don't know fully is also ajnan. I have misunderstanding, that is also ajnan. See, मैं आत्मा को नहीं जानता हूं, वही अज्ञान है. I don't know myself. I know myself, but I do not know that it is आनंद. वो भी अज्ञान है. I consider myself only this body. That is also अज्ञान. विपरीत ज्ञानम अज्ञानम. अपूर्ण ज्ञानम अज्ञानम. न ज्ञानम अज्ञानम. So somebody say, Ajnan, Swamiji, ignorance is bliss. No, it's blister. Ignorance cannot be bliss. It may be bliss for a short period of time, yes. But that is not a real joy. Not knowing is not a joy. Not knowing is dullness, foolishness. A mad fellow is also looks to be happy. Is it real happiness then? He is bewildered, is living in his own Brahma world only, world of its own illusion. That cannot be considered as happiness. So, dukkam nivartate, sarvam dukkam nivartate. It is said in Gita very clearly, sukamaatyantikam yatyad buddhigrahyam atindriyam vetti yatra na chai evayam stitas chalati tattvataha. Having gained that beginningless, endless bliss in oneself, he does not move. Yasmin sthito na dukkena guruna api vichalyati. Even the heaviest sorrow cannot move that person. Because having understood that aham atma and sarvam anatma, that everything else is other than the self is only an illusion, having known which, having gained that sukham completely, how can there be any iota of sorrow in such a person? Sarvam dukkham. Any other thing when you pursue a temporary, that, see, if I have a bodily pain and I take a medicine, a painkiller or medicine, only bodily related pain will go away. Mental pain will not go away out of that. Would it go away? If I have misunderstanding with somebody, I'll take a medicine for my bodily pain. Body pain will go away. My misunderstanding, the anger with that person will continue. Will that be resolved? So one is gone, something else will be still there. When is that sarvam dukkham, sarva dukkha nivarani? What is that? Atma vidya. Why it is so? Because once you know yourself well, and once you also know that all others are false, the false cannot torture you anymore. That जोग है ही नहीं, what that is no more there, how will that will ever disturb you? Gurudev used to say, after waking up from the dream, will you still worried about the wife that you married in the dream? क्या हुआ उसको? क्या हुआ? मेरे बेटे, मेरे भाभी, मेरी भैया, मेरी पत्नी, क्या हुआ? अरे, then you have not woken up. After waking up from the dream, all those dream experiences, whatever it be, has no reality, it is false. See, we are not able to understand this clearly. See, why we are not able to comprehend that clearly is, when I am in the dream, I am not a waker, clear, or sleeper. When I go to sleep, I am not the waker or the dreamer. When I wake up, I clearly see, when I am dreaming, I am not thinking whether I am a sleeper or a waker. I don't have that analysis going on. When I am sleeping, I am not thinking whether I am a dreamer or a waker. I am not thinking about it. When I wake up, I clearly know that I was not the dreamer, even though I experienced whatever. And I'm not the sleeper, even though I had experienced it. I'm clearly now aware that I'm a waker. In the waking state, I know that I'm not the dreamer, I'm not the sleeper. Clear? Now, but in the waking state, I cannot deny I'm not a waker. हो सकता है? In the dream, I'm no more having the problems of the waking state. But at the time of dream, I'm not thinking about it. In the sleep, the dream problems are also not there. Waking problem is also not there. But at that time, I'm not thinking that I'm not a waker or a dreamer. Only in the state of waking, I can think of the fact that dream was false. Dream is false. And the sleeper which I was, I experienced all right, but that is not me. Even though I experienced it. Now, in the waking state, I can deny dreamer and sleeper. When do I deny the waking state? Jnana se. Jnana avasthayam eva. In the state of complete abidance in jnanam alone, jagrat purushasya nivrittihi nashaha sambhavati. That we have never attempted. See, that we don't attempt. We never attempt to deny this waker. That is also possible. Once that is accomplished, once we accomplish the fact that I am not the waker, there you are. Then you realize sarvam dukkham, all sorrows that are associated with this waker is also false. Anandatma anubhutya chet. Only when you experience the true bliss of the self in denying and regarding and understanding of the false nature of the Jagrat Purusha, then sarvam dukkham nivartate. And that state of even the total elimination of the waker as a false entity, that is the jnanasya madhuryam. That is the bliss of knowledge. Jnanasya madhuryam tasya jnanasya madhuryam vaktavyam kimu shabdataha. What words can explain that? What word can explain? What to talk of it? Yat vacha anabhyuditam. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Manahascha vachahascha vakcha, nivartate, they both come back. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya. With the speech I cannot explain. With the mind, I cannot even think about it. Yad manasa manute tadeva vacha bhakti vadati. Whatever you are thinking, manasa manute, whatever you are thinking, that alone you are vacha vadati. That alone a person is able to speak through words. Yet manasa na mantum shakyate, that which is not possible for us to know by the mind, then vacha kim vadati. By speech, how can you speak about that? But this falsification of the waking, falsification of the waker is samadhi. And that is what the Vedanta points out. Go there, go there. Chalo, chalo, aap wahan chalo, le chalo aapko. Come on, proceed in that direction. Once having reached where, there is no more that anybody has to tell you. उसके बाद आपको कोई और आनंद देने का योग्यता भी नहीं होगा. Even as you having reached, you reach there, nobody else can give you any more joy. You will become the giver of joy to everyone. Continuing here, the next verse, verse number 16. Vedanta darshita swatma dehadipyo vilakshana Satchidananda Rupoyam Sarvabhuta Hriti Stitaha Vedanta Darshita Swatma Dehadipyo Vilakshana Satchidananda Rupoyam Sarvabhuta Hriti Stitaha. कहाँ है ये सच्चिदानंद स्वरूप परमात्मा? वेदांत दर्शित स्वात्मा, वेदांतेन दर्शितः. By the Vedanta, what is being indicated, that Atma, Dehadibhya, Deha Adi, meaning Deha, Prana, Mana, Vijnana, Karana Sharira, even Karana, Tesham Adibhya, Aditya Vilakshana, Dehadibhyo Vilakshana. Koshadita Purushaha, Koshadita Vastu, Shariratraya Atita Vastu, that which is beyond the three bodies, beyond the five koshas. When you say beyond, means what? It is not standing outside. Vilakshana means different, other than. It is not detached. It is not that staying somewhere outside that. No. Alag. Alag means here different. By nature it is different. It's not standing outside. Because this life here, is it standing outside of me? Outside the body? No. It is pretty much inside the body itself. The life in me is pretty much a part of the body, as though it is pretty much part of the prana, mana, buddhi, but it is not having any qualities of this deha, prana, mana, buddhi. Is it not? Because the qualities of these panchakoshas, the upadhis, are not in that, therefore it's called vilakshana. Let me give you an example. When you are dreaming, are you dreamer or you are witness of the dream? Are you a product of the dream? Please be careful. A dreamer, is he a product of the dream or the producer of the dream? Is a product of the dream. There are many characters there in your dream. Are you a product of the dream or you are the producer of the dream? कौन है आप? See, you are not produced in the dream. You are the producer of the dream. So when you are the producer of the dream, you are the creator of the dream, knowingly or unknowingly, when you are the creator of the dream, you are not going to be the product of the dream. Meaning what? At any point of time, as soon as you wake up, what happens is all that you have produced gets merged, but you are not absent. You come out of, as soon as the production of the or the creation of the dream is ended, you are what you are. When you come to wake up, you realize I produced the dream out of but I was not a product of that. Similarly, Jagradavastayam, in this state of waking also, all those experiences that we are experiencing through the thoughts are happening because the thoughts are happening from consciousness. Through the thoughts I experience this world. But I remain the same. When I withdraw all the thoughts into myself, I come to realize that I only created it. Then utter silence will come on you. Then I am vilakshanaha, dehadibhyo vilakshanaha. I am different from all these things. Here again, don't think that you are away. So, just like in the dream, you are not staying away from the dream. You are there. Similarly, aham dehe asmi, manasi asmi, prane asmi, buddhau asmi. I mean all of them, but I am not them. That's why Bhagavan says, they are in me, I am not in them. I am not in them means what? I am not standing outside. I am not their qualities that are there, the qualities of all of them, I am not. Why? Satchidananda Srupaha Ayam. This is of the nature of pure existence, consciousness, bliss. And where is it? Sarvabhuta Hridistitaha. Present in all hearts, in everybody's heart, not anywhere else, present in everybody's heart equally. So one more verse we'll see and then conclude this, okay, today. That's verse number 17. Verse number 17. Atmaikatvam yo janati prema purno bhavatyano samasarveshu bhuteshu maitra karuna eva saha Atmaikatvam yo janati prema purno bhavatyano samasarveshu bhuteshu maitra karuna eva saha. Atma ekatvam yo janati. This sarvabhuta hridistita atma ekaha idi yo janati. He, the one who comes to know that there is one self which is present in all hearts. What happens to him? Prema purnaha bhavati. He will become so much of love. Anu, following this knowledge. And sarveshu bhuteshu samah. He is same to all beings. Maitraha, friendly. Karunaha, compassionate. Evasaha. See, in my own body also, where am I? Kaha मैं हूं. Even if you see, in this body, kaha मैं नहीं हूं. Where I am not in this body, tell me. यहाँ है, यहाँ है, यहाँ है, यहाँ. Everywhere I am. Anywhere you touch, I am, right? You know why? Because, see, let us look at it carefully. When I take this finger and touch myself here, I feel, right? I feel here. I feel my hand poking a particular part of the body, right? Now, this particular part of the body is sensed by my brain. So as soon as I touch here, you touch also, I will feel it. Whenever I touch it, you touch it, I'll feel. So here, somebody touches me here, immediately I feel here. Somebody touches me on the back, immediately I feel there. So where am I? So every part of the body I am, because in every part of the body I identify. Immediately, the moment you touch, I am already identified with the entire body. So anywhere you touch, I will know it. So therefore, identification makes the sense of I. Please, we'll take it up a little later next class. Identification brings the sense of I. If my identification with the entire body, I can feel myself as this anywhere you touch. Just like this I has the identification with which it is able to sense it. Now, this Paramatma is how it actually operates through the Antakarana and identifies, and therefore I feel the I-ness everywhere in the body. The same Paramatma identified with all the Antakaranas, all the heart of all beings. With respect to that particular identification, it will feel the sense of I. I will explain that in the next class. Alright. So until then you have to wait. Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhat Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.